In Bogota, Colombia, a man named Fabio engages in a conversation with Don Luis, his boss and a notorious drug lord. Fabio announces his decision to resign, revealing his intention to hand over all the cartel's financial records to another associate. Don Luis, wearing a smile, expresses his fondness for Fabio, and they raise their glasses in a toast to Fabio's future. Sensing the potential danger of his boss's reaction, Fabio swiftly departs, signaling to Marco, Don Luis's trusted lieutenant. Aware of the risks associated with leaving the drug trade, Fabio swiftly gathers 3 loyal guards and rushes home, aware that time is of the essence. Upon arriving home, Fabio informs his wife, Alicia, that the moment has arrived. He instructs his young daughter, Catalia, to pack, though she assures him she's already prepared. In preparation for any unforeseen circumstances, Fabio advises Catalia to seek refuge at the American embassy, providing her with a microchip containing incriminating evidence against Don Luis. Additionally, he provides her with an address for his brother. As a sentimental gesture, Fabio gives Catalia his necklace adorned with a Catalia flower, after which she was named, as a tribute to his mother's fondness for the flower. Moments later, Marco, accompanied by numerous members of the cartel, arrives and ruthlessly eliminates Fabio's men. Despite Fabio and Alicia's valiant attempt to defend themselves with firearms, their fate is tragically sealed off-screen. Catalia, left alone at the table, listens to the deafening gunfire in shock. In a swift move, she ingests the microchip, ensuring its safety. Approaching Catalia, Marco feigns friendliness, claiming to have been a confidant of her father's. He accuses Fabio of stealing something crucial from Don Luis, the microchip. Sensing danger, Catalia seizes a knife hidden beneath the table and strikes Marco's hand before making her daring escape through a window onto a ledge. Her parents had evidently imparted survival skills upon her for such perilous situations. Evading pursuit from the cartel's Parker experts, motorcyclists, and drivers, Catalia outmaneuvers them by disappearing into the city's sewers. Emerging from a manhole, she makes her way to the U.S. Embassy, where she encounters an agent inquiring about her father. Despite her fabricated response of his demise, the agent probes further about her father's possession, prompting Catalia to feign illness and surreptitiously surrender the microchip. Its contents, detailing Don Luis's illicit operations, leave the agent stunned. In exchange for the valuable information, Catalia receives safe passage out of the country and forged documents. As an American CIA agent accompanies her to Miami, Catalia seizes an opportunity during a bathroom break to slip away through the window. She purchases a bus ticket bound for Chicago, the destination her father had instructed her to seek. Arriving in a run-down neighborhood, she inquires about Emilio, her uncle and Fabio's brother. Emilio's eyes fill with emotion upon seeing her, embracing her tightly. In her uncle's arms, Catalia finds solace, finally allowing herself to release the pent-up emotions, tears streaming down her cheeks. The following day, Emilio arranges for her enrollment at a prestigious prep school, greasing the wheels with a bribe to the principal to secure her admission mid-year. As they depart, Catalia feels a surge of frustration, believing that conventional schooling offers her little in the way of the skills she craves, those of an assassin. However, Emilio abruptly pulls out a revolver and demonstrates his point by causing a car to crash with a single shot. He elucidates that while assassins may be abundant, survival in the field demands more than mere proficiency with weapons. It necessitates intelligence and understanding of human behavior. He implores Catalia to prioritize education, emphasizing the importance of learning how people think. Moved by his words, Catalia resolves to heed his advice. In the present day, 2 police officers sit in their patrol car, engaged in casual conversation about their personal lives, particularly their spouses. Their peaceful moment is abruptly shattered as their vehicle is violently struck by a drunk driver. Emerging from the wreckage, a disoriented woman stumbles out, her speech unintelligible. Swiftly apprehending her, the officers recognize a familiar sight, a flower necklace adorning the woman's neck. It is Catalia, now grown. Taking her into custody, they transport her to the police station, where she is processed for driving under the influence and relegated to a cell for the night. Exhausted, she drifts off to sleep. Under the cover of darkness, U.S. Marshals arrive at the station, escorting a prisoner. As Catalia awakens, she realizes that her DUI arrest was a calculated ruse to infiltrate the precinct. With a quick change into a sleek black outfit, she deftly picks the lock of her cell and secures a spoon from a cup of coffee for her next move. Manipulating the surveillance cameras to evade detection, she discreetly acquires water from the cooler and makes her way to the electrical room. There, she ingeniously rigs the cup and spoon to generate a spark, providing her with the distraction needed to access the ventilation system and disappear into the air ducts. As the water from the cup continues to leak, Cataleya's ingenious plan unfolds. Just before the power is reset, she slips through the now stationary fan blades and drops into the men's restroom undetected. Seizing the opportunity, she incapacitates the officer guarding the prisoner, rendering him unconscious. Positioning his body strategically in front of the surveillance camera, Cataleya ensures that the door will be opened again when the incident is discovered. With swift precision, she unlocks the prisoner's cell and rouses him from sleep, instructing him to unbutton his shirt. Bewildered, he questions her motives, only to be met with a barrage of gunfire as Cataleya executes him. The echoing shots alert the U.S. Marshals, who rush to the scene to find the guard awakening with the gun in his hand, framed for the murder by Cataleya's calculated deception. Despite their thorough search of the premises, Cataleya manages to slip away unnoticed, ascending to the roof to evade capture. When the coast is clear, she retraces her steps through the air ducts, returning to her cell where she reverts to her civilian attire and secures the door behind her. By the time the marshals locate her, she appears to be innocently asleep, leaving them perplexed about the events that transpired. Released the following day after being fingerprinted, Cataleya leaves the jail, removing the fake latex skin from her hand that concealed another person's prints. Returning home, she indulges in a solitary dance to music, seeking solace in the rhythm. After a thorough shower, symbolizing the cleansing of her past actions, Cataleya ventures to the apartment of Danny, a painter with whom she shares a complicated relationship. Concealing her true identity under the alias Jennifer, Cataleya engages in intimate relations with Danny, yet departs the next morning without a word, her reticence betraying her underlying fear of revealing her true self to him. FBI Special Agent Ross arrives at the jail and realizes that the latest victim is part of a series of murders they've been diligently tracking for the past 4 years, totaling 22 victims in all. Dubbed the Tag Killer due to the distinctive markings left on the victims' chests resembling the Cataleya flower, the case has eluded authorities for far too long. Meanwhile, CIA agent Richard travels to New Orleans, where he confronts Don Lewis, a notorious figure in the criminal underworld who has thus far evaded prosecution for his illicit activities. Presenting evidence of the recent hit orchestrated from the jail cells, Richard accuses Lewis of involvement, but the latter vehemently denies any connection to the crime. Despite receiving preferential treatment from the CIA, including witness protection and the allowance to continue his cocaine smuggling operations in exchange for intel, Lewis senses that Richard suspects something amiss, a fact he is keenly aware of. After Richard's departure, Lewis instructs Marco, his trusted lieutenant, to address the escalating situation. Suspecting Cataleya's involvement in the killings, Lewis realizes that he failed to eliminate her initially and now considers it imperative to rectify his mistake by ensuring her demise. Cataleya pays a visit to Emilio, who is visibly angered upon seeing her calling card in the paper. He chastises her for her reckless actions, emphasizing his solemn promise to her late father to safeguard her. Emilio confesses that he had never wished for Cataleya to tread down the perilous path she's chosen, often diverting potential jobs to shield her from danger. Unyielding in her resolve, Cataleya asserts her autonomy, insisting that she made the conscious decision to pursue this course and vows to continue until Don Lewis meets his end. Reluctantly, Emilio relents and provides her with the details of her next assignment, targeting a hedge manager responsible for a massive Ponzi scheme and subsequent embezzlement of billions, who has since fled the country, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. Meanwhile, at the FBI office, Special Agent Ross sifts through security footage with his team, analyzing clues in an attempt to apprehend the elusive killer known as the Tag Killer. Despite some agents theorizing that the culprit could be Cataleya, as glimpsed in the surveillance tapes, Ross hesitates to accept that a woman could be capable of such heinous acts. Cataleya proceeds to her workplace, where she is greeted by 2 large dogs who obediently respond to her commands. After indulging them with steaks, she enters her office to find Pep, a trusted associate of Emilio's, waiting for her. Pep assists her with her arsenal of weapons and vehicles. Delving into a safe, Cataleya retrieves her stash of fake passports, selecting one for Mexico in preparation for her next move. In the opulent mansion of the hedge fund manager, surrounded by extravagance and adorned with beautiful women drawn to his wealth, the atmosphere is one of decadence and arrogance. Despite the lavish surroundings, there's an underlying tension as the manager's paranoia prompts him to request additional security for the evening. Unfazed by the menacing presence of the sharks in the aquarium pool, Catalina swims through the water unnoticed, effortlessly infiltrating the mansion by lifting a glass cover. Armed with a silenced pistol, she moves with purpose as she confronts the hedge fund manager. Upon awakening to find himself marked with the word thief and the telltale flower symbol, he ventures through his residence, only to discover the lifeless bodies of his guards strewn throughout. As he reaches the pool area, Catalina, calmly seated in a chair, reveals her presence. Desperate, the manager attempts to retaliate, but his guns are rendered useless, their chambers empty. In a swift and calculated move, Catalina incapacitates him with shots to the legs, his pleas for mercy falling on deaf ears. Ignoring his offers of doubled payment, she delivers the final blow, sending him tumbling into the water below. As blood mingles with the pool water, the hungry sharks eagerly consume their prey, leaving no trace of the once powerful hedge fund manager behind. Returning to the USA, Catalina seeks solace in the familiarity of Danny's apartment, though he's absent, having ventured out to explore potential art galleries. Finding comfort in his absence, she curls up on his bed, clutching his shirt tightly to her chest, a silent testament to her affection for him, tempered by the fear of revealing her true emotions. As Special Agent Ross delves deeper into the investigation of the Tad killer, a pivotal clue emerges when the mailman delivers a package containing a calling card adorned with the distinctive Catalina flower, a species native to Colombia. Recognizing the significance of this revelation, Ross endeavors to connect the dots by exploring potential leads in Colombia, only to encounter resistance due to the jurisdictional constraints imposed by the CIA. Undeterred, Ross reaches out to CIA agent Richard, seeking clearance to pursue the case further, but his requests are met with evasion and reluctance. Sensing the imminent threat posed by Ross's investigation, Richard reaches out to Don Lewis, tasking him with neutralizing the problem before Ross uncovers any incriminating evidence. In response, Lewis dispatches Marco to track down Catalina, instructing him to interrogate every Colombian individual until he uncovers information leading to her family. Meanwhile, in the safety of her home, Catalina shares a meal with Danny, seeking solace in his company amidst the chaos of her clandestine life. Their evening takes a romantic turn as they embrace, but Danny, sensing Catalina's inner turmoil, urges her to take a moment to sit, eat, and engage in meaningful conversation. Despite the weight of her secrets, Catalina finds comfort in Danny's presence, and they find solace in each other's arms once again. As midday approaches, Danny captures a tender moment as Catalina sleeps, snapping a quick photo before rousing her with a spread of breakfast food. However, Catalina's reaction is unexpectedly intense, as she panics and insists that she's done something unforgivable and must leave immediately. Bewildered by her sudden distress, Danny is left reeling, uncertain of what transpired to cause such a drastic reaction. Seeking guidance and solace, Catalina meets with Emilio, who is visibly incensed after seeing the latest reports detailing her continued actions with the calling card. Emilio highlights the dire consequences of her relentless pursuit of vengeance, pointing out the danger she's not only putting herself in but also the family she still has left. Recounting his own past mistakes and the devastating loss of his son, Emilio underscores the futility of violence and its toll on their loved ones. He leaves Catalina with a poignant reminder of their familial bond, a photograph of her parents, serving as a sobering reminder of the stakes involved. Moved by Emilio's words, Catalina accompanies him and her grandmother to church, signaling a potential shift in her resolve to abandon her quest for revenge. Meanwhile, at a coffee shop, Danny unknowingly reveals Catalina's photo to a friend, describing his burgeoning feelings for Jennifer. Oblivious to the gravity of his actions, the friend, concerned for Danny's well-being, contacts his sister-in-law, who works at a police station, to verify Jennifer's identity and ensure Danny's safety. Unaware of the Pandora's box he's inadvertently opened, the friend unwittingly sets off a chain of events that may unravel Catalina's carefully guarded secrets. As Special Agent Ross sits at his computer, he receives a ping containing Catalina's photo. Tracing the signal to another police station, he swiftly takes action, having the technician responsible arrested as they continue to track the signal's origin. Comparing the photo to security footage from the jail, Ross makes a chilling discovery. Catalina is the elusive woman he's been hunting. Meanwhile, Catalina, reeling from the revelation that her photo has been compromised, frantically calls Danny, attempting to articulate her feelings for him amidst the chaos. However, her panic intensifies when Danny mentions his friend seeing the photo, prompting Catalina to check her surroundings for signs of danger. SWAT teams descend upon her apartment, prompting Catalina to enact a daring escape plan. Turning on the shower to mask her movements, she climbs into a duct and navigates through neighboring apartments, eventually finding refuge in one where she previously stashed a harness and sniper rifle. With ruthless efficiency, she plants explosives and evades capture as Ross and his agents breach her apartment. Utilizing the harness to descend to the garage, Catalina disables security cameras and slips into the subway, vanishing into the crowded underground. Racing to Emilio's, she is met with a scene of devastation. Pape lies lifeless on the floor, her grandmother slain in the kitchen, and Emilio tortured and bound to a chair, life extinguished. Overwhelmed by grief and rage, Catalina apologizes to Emilio, her sorrow intermingling with seething anger. Later, as Ross returns home, Catalina lies in wait, armed and determined. Confronting him with a gun, she reveals her vengeance-fueled motives, explaining that the Catalina flower tag was a deliberate ploy to draw out Don Luis. With nothing left to lose, Catalina confronts Ross, her resolve unyielding in the face of her relentless pursuit of justice. As Catalina confronts Special Agent Ross, she delivers a chilling ultimatum. Either he obtains the information about Don Luis from the CIA, or she will escalate her campaign of vengeance by targeting his family members, one by one. Promising to deactivate the bomb she planted in his chair once she's gone, Catalina ensures Ross's safety as she waits for his compliance. Reluctantly, Ross approaches CIA agent Richard, explaining the dire situation. However, Richard remains obstinate, refusing to divulge the desired information. Undeterred, Catalina takes matters into her own hands, delivering a stark warning to Richard via sniper rifle, shattering his reinforced glass windows and forcing him to comply. With the address of Don Luis secured, Ross queries about his family's safety, but Catalina terminates the call, her intentions regarding Ross's loved ones left ambiguous. Armed and resolute, Catalina heads to Pape's garage, equipping herself with an arsenal of weapons before setting her sights on Don Luis's mansion. Meanwhile, inside the mansion, Marco briefs the men on the imminent threat posed by Catalina, cautioning them not to underestimate her prowess. As chaos erupts, Catalina launches a rocket, narrowly missing Don Luis as it detonates a room within the mansion. In a swift and decisive move, she thwarts the convoy of men attempting to flee, obliterating their vehicle with her armored truck and dispatching them with a hail of bullets. In the ensuing shootout, Catalina systematically eliminates Don Luis's henchmen, inching closer to her ultimate target. Sensing the imminent danger, Marco seeks to protect his boss by sequestering him in a safe room, while engaging Catalina in a deadly game of cat and mouse. In the final showdown, only Marco and one other man remain to confront Catalina. After swiftly dispatching the remaining henchmen, Catalina engages Marco in a brutal hand-to-hand combat. Their struggle escalating as they grapple for control of Catalina's handgun. Utilizing every resource at her disposal, Catalina resorts to unconventional tactics, including using a towel to try and choke Marco. In a desperate bid for survival, Marco manages to gain possession of the gun, but Catalina deftly disarms him by ejecting the clip and rendering the weapon useless. Seizing the opportunity, she disables the gun further by ripping off its slide and fatally stabs Marco in the neck, ending his reign of terror. Meanwhile, realizing that his men have been defeated and Catalina is closing in, Don Luis attempts to flee in one of his vans, but is thwarted by a garbage truck, leading to a dead end. Cornered and desperate, he receives a call from Catalina, who delivers a chilling message before unleashing her vengeance upon him, using his own dogs to tear him apart. As justice is served, Danny finds himself in custody, facing questions from Ross and the FBI. However, Catalina reaches out to him, offering a brief moment of connection before their call is traced. Despite the looming threat, Danny professes his love for her, prompting Catalina to tearfully reciprocate before abruptly ending the call. With her sunglasses firmly in place, Catalina boards a bus, her destination unknown, leaving behind a trail of destruction and closure in her wake. As Ross watches Danny depart, he grapples with the aftermath of Catalina's relentless pursuit of vengeance, contemplating the complex web of emotions and consequences that have unfolded. The end. So, what do you think of this movie? Did you enjoy the recap? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. One like and subscribe is highly appreciated. Share this video to your friends and family too. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos.